Success is not luck, it's a science. It's the result of specific thoughts, habits, and daily decisions that anyone can learn and master. Throughout history, extraordinary people didn't just stumble into achievement. They engineered it. What separates them from the rest? Not talent, not intelligence, not connections, it's mindset. This book reveals the psychological blueprint of success. You'll discover how to think differently, embrace challenges, persist when others quit, and turn failures into feedback that accelerates growth. You'll learn to focus like a laser, build powerful habits, manage emotions, and cultivate relationships that elevate you. Success begins in the mind. Every achievement you desire starts with how you think, decide, and act. This isn't theory. It's practical, actionable, and proven. Small, consistent actions compound into extraordinary results. Your potential is limitless. The principles in this book aren't reserved for the elite. They're for anyone ready to claim the life they deserve. Open these pages, commit to action, and step into your power. Your journey to unstoppable success starts now. If you truly want to change, subscribe to this channel, Audiobook USA. Here you'll find complete audiobooks, impactful and practical content you can apply in real life, and a completely free PDF with practical steps. It's not just about listening. Now it's about learning, applying, and moving forward all in one place. Chapter 1: The Success Mindset, Thinking Like a Winner. The foundation of all achievement is the mindset you bring to every situation. Your mindset is the lens through which you interpret reality, and it determines whether you see possibilities or limitations, growth or stagnation, opportunity or threat. Successful people have cultivated what psychologist Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. This stands in stark contrast to a fixed mindset, which assumes that our qualities are carved in stone and cannot be changed. When you adopt a growth mindset, failure transforms from a terrifying verdict on your abilities into valuable feedback that guides your improvement. You begin to embrace challenges rather than avoid them because you understand that struggle is the pathway to mastery. Every successful person you admire has failed countless times, but they viewed those failures through a different psychological lens. They asked themselves, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? What will I do differently next time? These questions redirect your focus from self-judgment to self-improvement, from dwelling on the problem to seeking solutions. The language you use with yourself matters profoundly. Successful people are acutely aware of their internal dialogue and actively work to make it more empowering. Instead of saying, I cannot do this, they say, I cannot do this yet. This simple word, yet, changes everything. It transforms a statement of permanent limitation into an acknowledgement of temporary inexperience. It creates space for growth and maintains motivation. Pay attention to your self-talk over the next week. Notice when you use limiting language and consciously replace it with more empowering alternatives. Belief drives behavior, and behavior creates results. If you believe you are capable of achieving your goals, you will take the actions necessary to make them happen. If you doubt your abilities, you will sabotage yourself through procrastination, fear, and half-hearted efforts. Successful people invest heavily in building unshakable self-belief. They do this through visualization, affirmations, studying success stories, celebrating small wins, and surrounding themselves with people who believe in their potential. Your belief system is not fixed. It is malleable and responds to the inputs you consistently feed it. One powerful technique for developing a success mindset is to study the biographies and autobiographies of people who have achieved what you aspire to accomplish. As you read their stories, you will discover that they faced similar doubts, fears and obstacles that you currently face. They were not superhuman. They were ordinary people who made extraordinary commitments. This realization is liberating because it proves that success is accessible to you. Create a reading list of at least 10 biographies of successful people in your field and commit to reading one per month. Another critical aspect of the success mindset is maintaining a long-term perspective. In our instant gratification culture, we expect immediate results and become discouraged when success does not arrive quickly. Successful people play the long game. They understand that meaningful achievements require sustained effort over months and years, not days and weeks. They are willing to delay gratification, make short-term sacrifices, and trust that their consistent efforts will compound into extraordinary outcomes. This long-term thinking protects them from the emotional roller coaster of temporary setbacks and allows them to maintain steady progress. Successful people also embrace responsibility for their results. While it is easy and tempting to blame external circumstances, other people, or bad luck for our failures, this victim mentality strips away our power. When you blame external factors, you implicitly declare that you are not in control of your outcomes. Successful people adopt an ownership mindset, understanding that even when circumstances are unfavorable, they still control how they respond. This responsibility, the ability to choose your response, is the foundation of personal power. From this moment forward, commit to taking full responsibility for your results, good or bad. Optimism is another hallmark of the success mindset. This does not mean ignoring reality or engaging in wishful thinking. Rather, it means choosing to focus on possibilities and solutions rather than dwelling on problems and obstacles. Research shows that optimistic people are more resilient, healthier, and more successful across multiple domains of life. They persist longer in the face of difficulty, recover faster from setbacks, and inspire others with their positive energy. You can cultivate optimism by consciously directing your attention toward what is working, what you are grateful for, and what opportunities exist in every situation. Your environment shapes your mindset more than you realize. Successful people are strategic about the information they consume, the people they spend time with, and the physical spaces they inhabit. If you constantly consume negative news, engage with pessimistic people, and surround yourself with clutter and chaos, your mindset will reflect these inputs. Conversely, if you curate your environment intentionally, filling it with inspiring content, supportive relationships, and organized spaces, your mindset will elevate. Conduct an environment audit this week. Identify the people, media, and spaces that drain your energy or reinforce limiting beliefs, and make changes accordingly. The success mindset also includes a commitment to continuous learning and growth. Successful people are voracious learners who invest in their personal development through books, courses, mentors, and experiences. They understand that in a rapidly changing world, the ability to learn and adapt is more valuable than any specific skill or knowledge. They approach life with curiosity and humility, always seeking to expand their understanding and capabilities. Make a commitment to invest at least 30 minutes every day in learning something new related to your goals and aspirations. Finally, successful people develop mental toughness, the ability to maintain focus and effort despite fatigue, boredom, or discouragement. Mental toughness is like a muscle that grows stronger through consistent training. You develop it by pushing yourself slightly beyond your comfort zone every day, whether in your workouts, your work, or your habits. When you feel like quitting, push for 5 more minutes. When you want to skip a workout, do it anyway. When you are tempted to procrastinate, take immediate action. These small acts of discipline compound into extraordinary mental strength that serves you in every area of life. Your mind is your most powerful tool. Train it well, and success becomes inevitable. Chapter 2: Goals Setting and Vision. Creating your success blueprint. Goals are the bridge between dreams and reality. Without clear, compelling goals, you drift through life reacting to circumstances rather than creating them. Successful people are master goal setters who understand that clarity of purpose transforms vague desires into concrete action plans. They know exactly what they want, why they want it, and what steps are necessary to achieve it. This chapter will teach you the psychological principles and practical techniques that successful people use to set and achieve goals that most people consider impossible. The first step in effective goal setting is creating a compelling vision for your future. Your vision is a detailed mental picture of who you want to become and what you want to achieve. It should be so vivid and exciting that it pulls you forward even when obstacles arise. Successful people spend considerable time crafting and refining their vision because they understand that you cannot achieve what you cannot clearly see. Set aside uninterrupted time this week to envision your ideal life 5 years from now. What does your day look like? What work are you doing? Who are you with? What have you accomplished? Write this vision in present tense, as if it is already happening, and include as much sensory detail as possible. Once you have a clear vision, you need to translate it into specific, measurable goals. The most effective goal-setting framework is the SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Vague goals like "I want to be successful" or "I want to be healthy" lack the clarity necessary to drive consistent action. Instead, transform them into SMART goals like "I will increase my annual income to $100,000 by December 31st of next year by launching a consulting business and acquiring 10 clients," or "I will lose 20 pounds and run a half marathon by June 1st by exercising 5 days per week and following a structured nutrition plan." Successful people understand the importance of writing their goals down. There is something psychologically powerful about translating thoughts into written words. When you write your goals, you engage different parts of your brain, strengthen your commitment, and create a physical reference point you can review regularly. Research shows that people who write down their goals are significantly more likely to achieve them than those who merely think about them. Create a goals journal and write your most important goals in it. Review and rewrite them daily to keep them at the forefront of your mind. Breaking large goals into smaller milestones is essential for maintaining motivation and momentum. When you look at a massive goal, it can feel overwhelming and impossible. Successful people combat this by chunking their goals into manageable pieces. If your goal is to write a book, your milestones might include completing an outline, writing the first draft of each chapter, revising the manuscript, and finding a publisher. Each milestone becomes a mini goal that you can celebrate upon completion, creating positive reinforcement that propels you toward the larger objective. The why behind your goals is even more important than the what. Successful people connect their goals to deeper values and purposes that give them meaning and emotional fuel. When your why is strong enough, you will find a way to overcome any obstacle. If your goal is to build a successful business, ask yourself why that matters to you. Is it to provide financial security for your family? To have creative freedom? To make a positive impact on the world? To prove something to yourself? Dig deep and identify the emotional drivers that will sustain you when motivation wanes. Write your why next to each goal and review it whenever you feel like giving up. Visualization is a powerful psychological tool that successful people use to program their subconscious minds for success. Your brain cannot distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. When you consistently visualize yourself achieving your goals, you create neural pathways that make those outcomes more likely. Olympic athletes use visualization to improve performance, and you can use the same technique to achieve your goals. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day visualizing yourself successfully completing the actions necessary to reach your goals and experiencing the emotions associated with achievement. Successful people also understand the importance of flexibility in goal pursuit. While you should be committed to your vision and goals, you must remain flexible about the strategies and methods you use to achieve them. The path to success is rarely a straight line. You will encounter unexpected obstacles, new information, and changing circumstances that require you to adjust your approach. Rigid attachment to a specific plan can lead to frustration and failure. Instead, maintain clarity about your destination while remaining open to different routes. Review your goals monthly and adjust your action plans based on what is working and what is not. Accountability dramatically increases your likelihood of achieving your goals. When you share your goals with others and create systems of accountability, you add social pressure that reinforces your commitment. Successful people use accountability partners, coaches, masterminds, and public declarations to keep themselves on track. Find someone who will hold you accountable to your goals, someone who will check in regularly, celebrate your wins, and call you out when you're not following through. This external accountability complements your internal commitment and creates a powerful combination that drives results. Setting deadlines creates urgency and prevents procrastination. Without a specific time frame, goals remain abstract intentions that you will get to someday. Successful people assign deadlines to every goal and milestone, creating a sense of healthy pressure that motivates action. Be realistic but ambitious with your deadlines. They should stretch you without setting you up for failure. If you miss a deadline, do not abandon the goal. Simply reassess, learn from what prevented you from meeting it, and set a new deadline with adjustments based on what you learned. Finally, successful people celebrate their progress and achievements along the way. Every milestone reached, every habit maintained, every obstacle overcome deserves recognition and celebration. This positive reinforcement strengthens the neural pathways associated with success and makes the journey more enjoyable. Too many people postpone happiness until they reach the final destination, only to find that the achievement feels hollow because they did not enjoy the process. Create a ritual for celebrating your wins, no matter how small. Acknowledge your progress, feel proud of your efforts, and use that positive energy to fuel the next phase of your journey. Your goals are not just about the destination. They are about who you become in the process of pursuing them. Chapter 3: The Power of Habits, Building Your Success Routine. Your life is essentially the sum of your habits. Everything you are today, every result you have achieved or failed to achieve, is the product of your daily habits. Successful people understand this fundamental truth and invest tremendous energy in building habits that serve their goals and eliminating habits that undermine them. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Small changes in your daily routine, repeated consistently over time, produce extraordinary results that seem miraculous to outside observers, but are simply the inevitable outcome of good systems. The science of habit formation reveals that habits consist of 3 components: a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue triggers the behavior. The routine is the behavior itself. And the reward is the benefit you gain from the behavior. Your brain loves this loop because it is efficient. Once a behavior becomes habitual, your brain can execute it with minimal conscious effort, freeing up mental resources for other tasks. Successful people leverage this neurological tendency by deliberately creating cue routine reward loops that support their goals. To build a new habit, you must make it as easy as possible to start. This principle called implementation intention, involves specifying exactly when and where you will perform the behavior. Instead of a vague commitment like I will exercise more, create a specific plan like I will put on my workout clothes and do 20 minutes of exercise in my living room immediately after I wake up at 6 a.m. This specificity eliminates decision-making and reduces the activation energy required to begin. The easier it is to start, the more likely you are to follow through. Habit stacking is another powerful technique where you attach a new habit to an existing one. Since you already perform certain behaviors automatically, you can use them as cues for new behaviors. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will write in my gratitude journal for 5 minutes. After I brush my teeth at night, I will read 10 pages of a book. This technique leverages existing neural pathways and makes new habits easier to establish. Identify the habits you already perform consistently and determine which new habits you can stack onto them. Successful people also understand the importance of environment design. Your environment shapes your behavior far more than willpower alone. If you want to eat healthier, remove junk food from your house and place healthy snacks in visible, accessible locations. If you want to read more, place books on your nightstand and remove the television from your bedroom. If you want to be more productive, create a dedicated workspace free from distractions. Every aspect of your environment either makes good habits easier or harder. Redesign your environment to make success the path of least resistance. Tracking your habits creates accountability and provides motivation through visible progress. When you track a habit, you create a visual record of your consistency that reinforces your identity as someone who follows through. Many successful people use habit trackers, simple calendars where they mark an X for each day they complete a habit. The chain of X's becomes psychologically satisfying, and you become motivated to not break the chain. Choose 1 to 3 keystone habits that will have the greatest impact on your goals and track them daily for the next 30 days. The concept of identity-based habits is transformative. Instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, focus on who you want to become. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to be. If you want to become a writer, start identifying as a writer and ask yourself, what would a writer do? A writer writes every day. If you want to become an entrepreneur, adopt the identity of an entrepreneur and make decisions accordingly. This shift from outcome-based to identity-based habits creates deeper motivation because it aligns your behaviors with your sense of self. Successful people also master the art of habit recovery. Perfection is not the goal. Consistency is. You will miss days, you will have setbacks, and you will occasionally revert to old patterns. What separates successful people from everyone else is how quickly they get back on track. They follow the never miss twice rule. If they miss a workout, they make sure to do the next one. If they skip their morning routine, they execute it perfectly the following day. One mistake does not define you. It is the pattern that matters. When you miss a habit, acknowledge it without judgment and immediately resume the next opportunity you have. The replacement strategy is crucial for eliminating bad habits. You cannot simply stop a bad habit through willpower alone. You must replace it with a better alternative. If you want to stop mindlessly scrolling through social media, replace that behavior with reading a few pages of a book. If you want to stop eating junk food when stressed, replace it with a healthier stress relief mechanism, like taking a walk or practicing deep breathing. Identify the cues that trigger your bad habits and consciously choose new routines that provide similar rewards. Successful people build morning routines that set the tone for their entire day. How you start your day determines your energy, focus, and productivity for everything that follows. A powerful morning routine might include meditation, exercise, journaling, reviewing goals, reading, and eating a healthy breakfast. The specific activities matter less than the consistency and intentionality. Design a morning routine that energizes you, aligns with your goals, and prepares you mentally and physically for the challenges ahead. Protect this routine fiercely. It is your competitive advantage. Finally, understand that habits compound over time in ways that are not immediately visible. In the beginning, the results of your habits may seem insignificant. You work out for a week and see no difference in your body. You study a new skill for a month and still feel incompetent. This is the valley of disappointment where most people quit. Successful people push through this phase because they trust the process. They understand that results lag behind effort and that consistency eventually produces a breakthrough. Your habits are an investment that pays dividends for the rest of your life. Build them wisely, protect them fiercely, and trust that your discipline today creates your freedom tomorrow. Chapter 4: Emotional Intelligence, Mastering Your Inner World. Success is not just about what you know or what you do. It is equally about how you manage your emotions and relationships. Emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions and those of others, is a critical success factor that often outweighs technical skills and cognitive abilities. Successful people have high emotional intelligence, which allows them to navigate complex social situations, maintain composure under pressure, build strong relationships, and make better decisions. This chapter will teach you how to develop the emotional intelligence that separates exceptional performers from average ones. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. You cannot manage emotions you do not recognize. Successful people cultivate the habit of regularly checking in with themselves, noticing what they are feeling and why. They create space between stimulus and response, allowing them to choose their reactions rather than being controlled by automatic emotional patterns. Start developing self-awareness by setting reminders throughout your day to pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What triggered this emotion? This simple practice strengthens your emotional awareness muscle. Emotional regulation is the ability to manage your emotional state rather than being controlled by it. Successful people experience the full range of human emotions, including fear, anger, frustration, and disappointment, but they do not allow these emotions to dictate their behavior. They have developed techniques for processing and releasing negative emotions constructively. Deep breathing, physical exercise, journaling, meditation, and talking with a trusted friend are all effective emotional regulation strategies. Identify which techniques work best for you and practice them regularly, especially when you are calm, so they become automatic responses when you are triggered. The concept of emotional granularity refers to the ability to distinguish between subtle emotional states. Most people have a limited emotional vocabulary, lumping all negative feelings into categories like bad or stressed. Successful people develop nuanced emotional awareness, distinguishing between anxiety, frustration, disappointment, overwhelm, and fatigue. This precision matters because each emotion requires a different response. Expand your emotional vocabulary by learning new feeling words and practicing identifying the specific emotions you experience. The more precisely you can name your emotions, the more effectively you can address them. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is essential for building strong relationships and influencing people. Successful people are skilled at reading emotional cues, both verbal and nonverbal, and responding with genuine understanding. They make others feel heard, valued, and understood, which creates trust and loyalty. Practice empathy by giving people your full attention during conversations, listening to understand rather than to respond, and imagining how situations feel from their perspective. Ask yourself, what might this person be experiencing? What do they need right now? Successful people also master the art of emotional resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and maintain optimism despite challenges. Resilience is not about avoiding negative emotions. It is about processing them effectively and extracting lessons from difficult experiences. When faced with failure or disappointment, resilient people allow themselves to feel the emotions fully, then shift their focus to what they can learn and how they can improve. They reframe obstacles as opportunities for growth and maintain faith that they will ultimately succeed. Build resilience by consciously practicing reframing exercises after setbacks. Social skills, the ability to build rapport, communicate effectively, and influence others, are critical for success in virtually every field. Successful people invest in developing their social skills through practice and feedback. They learn to read social situations, adapt their communication style to different personalities, resolve conflicts constructively, and build networks of mutually beneficial relationships. Improve your social skills by observing skilled communicators, practicing active listening, asking better questions, and seeking feedback on how others experience you. Managing stress is a crucial component of emotional intelligence. Chronic stress impairs decision-making, damages health, and undermines performance. Successful people recognize the signs of stress in their bodies and minds and take proactive steps to manage it before it becomes overwhelming. They build stress relief practices into their daily routines, such as exercise, meditation, time in nature, creative hobbies, and quality time with loved ones. They also set boundaries, say no to non-essential commitments, and protect their energy. Identify your primary stressors and create a personalized stress management plan that addresses them. Delayed gratification, the ability to resist immediate temptation in favor of long-term rewards, is a hallmark of emotional intelligence and a strong predictor of success. The famous marshmallow experiment demonstrated that children who could delay gratification achieve better outcomes in virtually every measured domain of life. Successful people have trained themselves to tolerate discomfort and delay pleasure in service of their larger goals. They choose the hard work of preparation over the temporary relief of procrastination. They sacrifice immediate consumption for long-term investment. Strengthen your delayed gratification muscle by regularly choosing difficult, important tasks over easy, pleasant ones. Successful people also develop emotional contagion awareness, understanding that emotions spread from person to person. Your emotional state affects everyone around you, and their states affect you. They consciously choose to be sources of positive emotional energy, bringing enthusiasm, optimism, and calm to their interactions. They protect themselves from emotional vampires, people whose negativity drains their energy. Pay attention to how different people affect your emotional state and make strategic decisions about who you spend time with. Finally, successful people practice self-compassion, treating themselves with the same kindness and understanding they would offer a good friend. Many high achievers struggle with harsh self-criticism, believing that beating themselves up will motivate better performance. Research shows the opposite is true. Self-compassion leads to greater resilience, motivation, and achievement because it creates a safe psychological space for growth. When you make mistakes or fall short of your standards, acknowledge the disappointment without self-attack. Remind yourself that imperfection is part of being human. Learn from the experience and commit to doing better. Your emotional intelligence is a skill that improves with practice. The more you invest in developing it, the greater your success and fulfillment will become. Chapter 5: Time Management and Productivity. Maximizing your most valuable resource. Time is the ultimate equalizer. Billionaires and minimum wage workers both receive the same 24 hours each day. What separates successful people from everyone else is not the amount of time they have, but how they use it. Successful people treat time as their most precious, non-renewable resource and manage it with ruthless efficiency. They understand that how you spend your hours is how you spend your life, and they make deliberate choices about where to invest their attention and energy. This chapter will teach you the time management and productivity strategies that successful people use to achieve extraordinary results without burning out. The foundation of effective time management is clarity about your priorities. Most people are busy but not productive, filling their days with activity that does not move them toward their most important goals. Successful people regularly ask themselves, what are the highest leverage activities I could be doing right now? They identify the 20% of activities that produce 80% of their results and ruthlessly focus on those tasks. This principle, known as the Pareto principle, reveals that not all hours are created equal. 1 hour spent on strategic planning might produce more value than 10 hours spent on busy work. Time blocking is one of the most effective productivity techniques used by successful people. Instead of maintaining a simple to-do list and reacting to whatever seems urgent, they schedule specific blocks of time for specific activities. They treat these time blocks as sacred appointments with themselves that cannot be violated. For example, they might block 8 to 10 a.m. for deep creative work, 10 to 11 a.m. for meetings, 11 a.m. to noon for email and communication, and 1 to 2 p.m. for strategic planning. This structure eliminates decision fatigue and ensures that important tasks receive dedicated attention. The concept of deep work, coined by productivity expert Cal Newport, refers to focused, uninterrupted work on cognitively demanding tasks. This type of work produces the highest quality output and the greatest value, but it requires extended periods of concentration without distraction. Successful people protect their deep work time fiercely, turning off notifications, closing unnecessary applications, and creating environments conducive to focus. They understand that shallow work, the constant checking of email and social media, the endless meetings, and the administrative tasks creates the illusion of productivity without producing meaningful results. Schedule at least 2 hours of deep work into your daily routine. Successful people also master the art of saying no. Every yes to one thing is a no to something else. When you say yes to attending that meeting, you are saying no to the focused work session you had planned. When you say yes to scrolling through social media, you are saying no to reading that book. Most people struggle with saying no because they fear disappointing others or missing opportunities. Successful people understand that their ability to achieve their goals depends on their willingness to disappoint people and turn down opportunities that do not align with their priorities. Practice saying no graciously but firmly to requests that do not serve your highest goals. Energy management is as important as time management. You can have all the time in the world, but if you lack energy, you will not be productive. Successful people pay attention to their natural energy rhythms and schedule their most important tasks during their peak energy periods. If you are a morning person, do your deep work in the morning and save administrative tasks for the afternoon. If you are a night owl, structure your day accordingly. They also manage their energy through proper sleep, nutrition, exercise, and breaks. Identify your peak energy times and jealously guard them for your most important work. The 2-minute rule, popularized by productivity expert David Allen, states that if a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately rather than adding it to your to-do list. This prevents small tasks from accumulating and creating mental clutter. However, be careful not to let 2-minute tasks interrupt deep work sessions. Apply this rule during designated administrative time blocks, not during your focused work periods. The goal is to eliminate the cognitive load of tracking numerous small tasks while maintaining focus on important work. Successful people batch similar tasks together to minimize context switching, the cognitive cost of shifting between different types of activities. Every time you switch from writing to checking email to making a phone call to doing research, your brain requires time to adjust to the new context. This switching depletes mental energy and reduces efficiency. Instead, batch all your emails into 1 or 2 designated periods. Complete all your phone calls in a single block and group similar tasks together. This approach allows you to maintain momentum and reduces the mental fatigue associated with constant context switching. The practice of weekly planning sets successful people apart from those who simply react to daily demands. Every week, typically on Sunday evening or Monday morning, they review their goals, assess their progress, and plan the upcoming week. They identify the most important tasks that will move them toward their goals and schedule them into their calendar. They anticipate potential obstacles and create contingency plans. This weekly planning session ensures that their daily activities align with their long-term objectives and prevents them from getting lost in the weeds of urgent but unimportant tasks. Successful people also leverage the power of morning routines to win the day before it begins. The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you start your day scrolling through social media or checking email, you hand control of your attention to external forces. If you start with intention through activities like exercise, meditation, journaling, and reviewing your goals, you claim ownership of your day. Design a morning routine that prepares you mentally, emotionally, and physically for the challenges ahead and protect that time from external demands. Technology can be either your greatest productivity tool or your biggest distraction. Successful people use technology strategically, leveraging apps and tools that enhance their productivity while eliminating or restricting those that waste their time. They use project management tools to organize tasks, calendar apps to schedule their time, note-taking apps to capture ideas, and automation tools to eliminate repetitive work. Simultaneously, they use website blockers, app limiters, and notification controls to prevent technology from hijacking their attention. Audit your technology use and make intentional decisions about which tools serve you and which ones you need to eliminate or restrict. Finally, successful people understand that rest is not the opposite of productivity. It is essential to it. They schedule time for recovery, recognizing that sustained high performance requires periods of rest and renewal. They take regular breaks throughout the day, disconnect completely during vacations, and prioritize sleep as a non-negotiable foundation of productivity. Paradoxically, by working less and resting more strategically, they accomplish more than those who grind constantly. Your productivity is not measured by how busy you are, but by the results you produce. Manage your time and energy wisely, and you will achieve more while enjoying the journey. Chapter 6: Continuous Learning and Skill Development, Becoming Unstoppable. In a rapidly changing world, your ability to learn and adapt is more valuable than any specific skill or knowledge you currently possess. Successful people are committed to continuous learning and skill development, understanding that growth is not optional. It is essential for remaining competitive and achieving new levels of success. They invest consistently in their personal and professional development, treating education as a lifelong pursuit rather than something that ends with formal schooling. This chapter will teach you how to become a learning machine who continuously expands capabilities and creates new opportunities. The learning mindset begins with intellectual humility, the recognition that no matter how much you know, there's infinitely more you do not know. Successful people approach new topics with curiosity and openness rather than ego and defensiveness. They're willing to be beginners again, to ask basic questions, and to admit when they do not understand something. This humility creates space for growth and accelerates learning. Cultivate intellectual humility by regularly exposing yourself to topics outside your expertise and resisting the urge to pretend you know more than you do. Successful people are strategic about what they learn. Rather than consuming information randomly, they identify knowledge and skills that will have the highest impact on their goals and focus their learning efforts accordingly. If your goal is to advance in your career, what skills do the people at the next level possess that you lack? If your goal is to start a business, what knowledge do you need about marketing, sales, finance, and operations? Create a learning curriculum for yourself based on your goals and systematically work through it. This focused approach produces better results than scattered, undirected learning. Reading is the most common learning habit among successful people. The vast majority of highly successful individuals read regularly, often consuming dozens of books per year. Reading exposes you to new ideas, strategies, and perspectives that expand your thinking and provide solutions to problems you are facing. Successful people read widely across different genres and topics, including biographies, business books, psychology, history, science, and philosophy. They read with intention, taking notes, highlighting key passages, and implementing what they learn. Commit to reading at least 20 pages per day, which translates to roughly 25 books per year. Beyond reading, successful people leverage multiple learning modalities to accelerate their development. They listen to podcasts and audiobooks during commutes and workouts. They take online courses and attend workshops to acquire specific skills. They watch educational videos and documentaries to explore new subjects. They attend conferences and seminars to learn from experts and network with peers. They hire coaches and mentors to receive personalized guidance. Diversifying your learning methods keeps education engaging and accommodates different learning styles. The concept of deliberate practice is crucial for skill development. Not all practice is created equal. Simply repeating an activity does not guarantee improvement. You must practice with focused attention on improving specific aspects of your performance and receive feedback on your efforts. Successful people identify the components of their craft that need improvement, design exercises that target those components, practice with intense focus, and seek feedback to guide their adjustments. Whether you're developing a technical skill, a creative ability, or a social competence, apply the principles of deliberate practice to accelerate your mastery. Teaching others is one of the most effective ways to deepen your own understanding. When you explain a concept to someone else, you're forced to organize your thoughts, identify gaps in your knowledge, and articulate ideas clearly. Successful people actively seek opportunities to teach, whether through formal presentations, informal conversations, writing articles, or mentoring others. This not only solidifies their learning, but also builds their reputation and expands their network. After you learn something new, find someone to teach it to within 48 hours. Successful people also understand the importance of reflection in the learning process. Simply consuming information is not enough. You must process and integrate it. They regularly schedule time to review what they have learned, connect new knowledge to existing understanding, and identify practical applications. Journaling is an excellent reflection tool that helps consolidate learning and generate insights. After reading a book, attending a seminar, or completing a course, spend time writing about the key takeaways, how they relate to your goals, and what specific actions you will take based on what you learned. Cross-disciplinary learning creates unexpected advantages. While specialization has value, many breakthroughs occur at the intersection of different fields. Successful people cultivate a breadth of knowledge across diverse domains, allowing them to make connections and generate insights that specialists miss. Steve Jobs attributed much of Apple's success to his study of calligraphy, which influenced the beautiful typography of Mac computers. Study subjects outside your primary field to stimulate creativity and develop unique perspectives that set you apart. The learning habit of asking better questions transforms your education. Instead of passively consuming information, successful people actively engage with it through questioning. Why does this work? What are the limitations of this approach? How does this relate to other things I know? What would happen if I applied this in a different context? These questions deepen understanding and reveal insights that surface-level learning misses. Develop the habit of questioning everything you learn, not with skepticism, but with genuine curiosity. Implementing what you learn is the ultimate test of education. Knowledge that is not applied is merely entertainment. Successful people maintain a bias toward action, constantly experimenting with new strategies and techniques. They understand that real learning occurs through doing, not just studying. After acquiring new knowledge, they immediately identify opportunities to test it in real-world situations. They learn from the results, adjust their approach, and refine their understanding. Create an implementation plan for every significant piece of learning, specifying exactly when and how you will apply the new knowledge or skill. Finally, successful people embrace discomfort as a sign of growth. Learning new things is often frustrating and humbling. You feel incompetent, you make mistakes, and you struggle with concepts that others seem to grasp easily. This discomfort causes many people to quit and retreat to familiar territory. Successful people reframe this discomfort as evidence that they're expanding their capabilities. They normalize struggle as part of the learning process and persist through the awkward beginner phase. The next time you feel frustrated while learning something new, remind yourself that this discomfort is the price of growth and that every master was once a disaster. Your commitment to continuous learning ensures that you will never become obsolete and that your value will consistently increase throughout your career and life. Conclusion: your success journey begins now. You have now explored the fundamental psychological principles and practical strategies that separate successful people from everyone else. You understand that success is not a matter of luck, genetics, or circumstances beyond your control. Success is the predictable result of specific mindsets, habits, emotions, and behaviors that you can choose to develop starting today. The question is not whether you are capable of success. The question is whether you are willing to commit to the journey of becoming the person who achieves it. Every successful person you admire was once where you are now, uncertain, inexperienced, and facing obstacles that seemed insurmountable. What distinguished them was not that they possessed special advantages, but that they made a decision to pursue their goals relentlessly regardless of the challenges. They developed a growth mindset that transformed obstacles into opportunities. They set clear, compelling goals and created detailed plans to achieve them. They built powerful habits that compounded into extraordinary results. They mastered their emotions and developed the resilience to persist when others quit. They managed their time and energy with ruthless efficiency. They committed to continuous learning and skill development. Most importantly, they took consistent action day after day, year after year, until their dreams became reality. The same transformation is available to you. The principles in this book work for anyone willing to apply them. Your past does not determine your future. Your current circumstances do not limit your potential. Your age, education, background, and resources are not the determining factors. What matters is the decision you make in this moment about who you want to become and what you are willing to do to get there. Success is not reserved for a privileged few. It is accessible to anyone who studies its principles and commits to embodying them. As you move forward, remember that transformation happens gradually through small, consistent improvements. You will not become successful overnight, and you should not expect to. Sustainable success is built through daily discipline and patience. Every morning you wake up early instead of hitting snooze. Every time you choose to work on your goals instead of watching television. Every instance you push through discomfort instead of quitting. You are casting a vote for the person you are becoming. These votes accumulate over time, and eventually, you reach a tipping point where your new identity becomes your default way of being. You will face setbacks and failures on this journey. There will be days when you feel like giving up, when your progress seems invisible, when you doubt whether your efforts will ever pay off. These moments are not signs that you should quit. They are tests of your commitment. Successful people experience the same doubts and frustrations, but they interpret them differently. They understand that the path to success is not a straight line, but a winding road with peaks and valleys. They trust the process even when results are not immediate. They maintain faith in their vision and persist through temporary disappointments. Surround yourself with people who support your growth and challenge you to become better. Your social environment profoundly influences your beliefs, behaviors, and results. If you spend time with people who are negative, complacent, or dismissive of your ambitions, you will absorb those attitudes. If you surround yourself with positive, ambitious, growth-oriented individuals, you will rise to meet their standards. Seek out mentors who have achieved what you aspire to accomplish. Join communities of like-minded people who are pursuing similar goals. Build relationships with people who believe in your potential and hold you accountable to your commitments. Take action immediately. The biggest mistake you can make after reading this book is to set it aside and return to your old patterns. Knowledge without action is worthless. Choose one principle from this book that resonates most strongly with you and implement it today. Perhaps you will write down your goals in detail. Perhaps you will design a morning routine and execute it tomorrow. Perhaps you will identify one bad habit to eliminate and replace it with a better alternative. Perhaps you will block 2 hours of deep work time in your calendar. Whatever you choose, take concrete action within the next 24 hours. This immediate implementation creates momentum and signals to your subconscious mind that change is happening now, not someday. Remember that success is not just about external achievements, but also about who you become in the process. The wealth, status, recognition, and accomplishments you gain are wonderful, but the greatest reward is the person you must become to achieve them. The discipline, resilience, wisdom, confidence, and skills you develop on your journey to success are treasures that no one can take from you. They serve you in every area of life and continue to grow throughout your lifetime. Focus not just on reaching your destination, but on enjoying and learning from the journey. Be patient with yourself while maintaining high standards. Transformation takes time, and you will make mistakes along the way. You will have days when you fail to execute your plan, when you give in to temptation, when you fall short of your own expectations. Do not use these moments as evidence that you are incapable of success. Instead, treat them as feedback that guides your improvement. Acknowledge what went wrong, identify what you can learn from the experience, and recommit to your path. Self-compassion combined with accountability is the formula for sustainable growth. Your potential is far greater than you currently imagine. Deep within you lie capabilities, talents, and strengths that have not yet been activated. As you apply the principles in this book and push yourself beyond your comfort zone, you will discover dimensions of yourself you never knew existed. You will accomplish things you once considered impossible. You will inspire others through your example. You will create a life of meaning, impact, and fulfillment that exceeds your wildest dreams. The psychology of successful people is not a mystery or a secret reserved for the elite. It is a science, a set of principles and practices that anyone can learn and apply. You now possess this knowledge. The only question remaining is what you will do with it. Will you let this information fade into the background of your mind, becoming just another book you once read? Or will you use it as a catalyst for transformation, a blueprint for building the life you truly want? The choice is yours, and the time to choose is now. Success awaits those who are willing to claim it through focused effort and unwavering commitment. You are capable of far more than you realize. Believe in yourself, trust the process, take consistent action, and refuse to quit. Your success story begins today, in this moment, with the decision you make about who you will become. Go forth with confidence, courage, and commitment. Your extraordinary future is waiting for you to create it. The psychology of successful people is now your psychology. Go make it happen. Thank you for listening on Audiobook USA.